Hello. Yes, I've just mutated, obviously. No, I gotta take my place here among the living. Hello. I hope you hear me okay. You don't need to see me, hi. You don't. You know what I look like. I look like this. Well, anyway, I hope you can hear me okay. I don't have, I can see the chat, I don't have audio, but it should be fine. In any case, you let me know if you can't hear me or something is too loud or whatever. I don't even know what is playing. It's just a shuffle chiptune compilation. Audio is fine, okay. So welcome. This is definitely something a little bit different from usual, as you might have gathered from this new setup, layout, what do you want to call it? Yeah, but I thought I'm moving again, so I thought it was interesting to look at a few things from my collection and discuss them. Since we've been, we've been discussing also in Italy a little bit about the research by the Video Game History Foundation about, you know, how many games are actually available to buy. And I do believe the overall percentage of European games available are actually way less than 87%. But yeah, we'll get through this. Hopefully. I feel a little bit lonely without audio. Maybe I should actually wear the headphones. Let me see if they can actually reach over. I don't think so. No, too short. I could use Bluetooth, but it's going to take forever, so who cares? Yes, Puppy's adorable. That's why I've chosen him. I don't know. I would say Dalsim is probably a they them, but yeah, chosen them instead of my ugly face. So yeah, I also forgot my drink. So yeah, sorry, this is going to be a little bit haphazard. So I'm going to get my drink. Wait a second. Sorry. Drink ghetto. Okay. Alright, here we are again. I'd say we can start. So, while I don't have, unfortunately, a whole selection of stuff from the 70s and 80s and so, but yeah, the first thing I think it's interesting to look at big box PC games is the fact that they were all different. That's I think is one of the most interesting thing when you look at those old PC boxes. In that, really, some publisher had a standard, like for example, yeah, Sierra clearly had a standard, a quite high standard, I would say. Oh yeah, those first Microsoft games as well had a kind of very recognizable package, let's say. But overall, each one was different. So that's what I think is interesting to look at tonight. But let's start chronologically. Why don't we? And look at this. The webcam is on autofocus, so it should actually work, but let's see. Oh, the ring is ugly. Let me turn it off. Okay, I think that's fine. Yeah, I think we can all recognize the game at least. This is a Japanese release of Tetris on NES, which, yeah, it's not big box PC games obviously, but it's a nice little selection from my library. And yeah, most of those games back then came in quite a basic little package, as you can see. You can just, there's a little plastic holder for the cartridge. Also, this was sent by Gaming Alexandria, so thank you, Gaming Alexandria. Then you have, yeah, your classic little receipt. I mean, not receipt, like registration card. Little manual, nice little manual. Most of them were in some kind of color, and this is quite interesting. Today we could probably call this cultural appropriation for, you know, Russian guys drawn by Japanese artists, I guess, something like that. Also, interestingly, there's no credits to the original creators of Tetris, as you would expect. Some other stuff. Recommendation that you should actually plug in your NES into the electrical outlet, which is always good to know. And yeah, a little catalog thing for Atris, Pipe Dream, and that's it. Oh, there's actually Alexei here. I don't know if you can see him. Yeah, there's barely enough light, but yeah, here he is, running on the title screen of Atris. But yeah, this was just a little extra. I don't really own a lot of NES Japanese. I actually don't own any NES games. Because I didn't have NES, as you might have guessed. My specialty is obviously big box PC releases. So let's get out of the way the other NES release I have, so that they're finished. And I think you could recognize this, especially because the title is on the upper left. This is Raid on Bungling Bay, which is Wheelwright's first video game. This is a NES conversion, obviously. I'm not gonna bother opening this one. This is from 1985 because it's a nightmare to put back together. But yeah, it's the same stuff. It's just a little small manual and cartridge. So they were very basic releases. But as you can see, they are of different sizes as well. So they really cater to the same thing, is that each release was different, at least in size. There were little extras at the time, I believe, because there was not much room. So that's NES. But if we want to look at a basic, classic, whatever, which you want to call it, big box release, I don't know how much classic you can call it. This is I have no idea what this game. You know what? This is a bad example of classic. Let's look at something a little bit more classic. So I mentioned Sierra. This is definitely one of the least known titles from Sierra. This is Hunter Hunted, and here comes the first interesting thing. So this is from 1996, and this is a European release. And obviously you can say, oh yeah, you can tell because it's written complete in Deutsch, so you know, no shit, it's obviously from Germany. But that's not actually how you can tell. You can tell because it's a smaller box. I mean, today we could call this big box, obviously, but for the time this was actually a small release, because most big boxes were more or less of this size. So they were quite bigger. This is just an example. I mean, the Sierra ones were actually even bigger than that, but yeah. European, like everything, yes, Europe has a thing for small things. And yeah, unfortunately, this is a bit of a thing in that all European releases were quite lackluster. They were not only smaller, which I mean, fine, but they did not include a lot of stuff that the US releases had. So that was a bit of a shame, honestly. So when I started collecting, I tried to get as many US releases as possible, because the European ones were almost always worse. Almost always. It's actually really a rule of thumb. So very few things in this release as well. The usual registration card, which is great if you're collecting, otherwise it's completely useless. Control scheme, little quick control scheme, again in German, but I mean you get the drift. There's also some nice control here. There's a Gravis Grip, the Thrustmaster Phaser, and a Microsoft Sidewinder. Oh, I so wanted a Sidewinder. Never had a Sidewinder. We'll get to this last. Yeah, unfortunately, the most European releases, especially from Sierra, add this really sad CD manual, which again quite lackluster because it was also almost always in black and white. It's in color this time. I mean, credit where credit is due. It is in color, even though it's not good color. Yeah, you can see it a little bit better here. The good and the bosen und die Fiesen. Yeah, Gerroden, yes, the unforgettable character, Gerroden. But yeah, sad little jewel case manual, CD inside. That was it. The one interesting thing in this old European Sierra releases are the catalogs, which are a pet peeve of mine. I love to look back at them. This is obviously Rama, which becomes Rendezvous in Weltraum. Wonder if they called it Weltraum, if you would have more success. Also, Phantasmagoria 1 and 2, and I like that they always advertised it by using the really high quality image. On the other hand, really high quality image, which you would never get playing the FMV, which was over compressed. Obviously, maybe one day we'll see a remaster of these games, but doubtful. Oh, Urban Runner, another Cocktail Vision classic, which I might someday play on those French streams. Yeah, all the classic that you might expect. Lords of the Realm 2, I don't know why was it so hard to pronounce. Lords? Yeah, there's Hunter Cyber Gladiator. Wow, there's stuff I completely forgot about. Earth Siege 2. Yeah, also quite terrible cover art. I don't even know what this is. Just random vomited green stuff. I don't know. Maybe clouds or something. I don't know. It's not entirely clear, honestly. So let's look at something a little bit more interesting, rich in content, maybe. Oh, actually, we were talking about US releases, and the one thing about US releases, they always have these gatefold boxes. This is actually a European release, but it's a good example that you could actually do this, and you could look at all those nice little extra images, and almost all of the USB-C boxes actually had the gatefold that opened up. European releases, really few of them. I can think of this one. Last Express has it. Fable, maybe not the obviously the Lionhead game, the adventure game Fable. But I think that's it. But there might be more. I don't know. Yes, I mean the fact that. Clearly, we must remember that those were expensive. you know, we like to complain that games have gotten expensive, but back in the 90s, those were quite expensive. I can give you Italy as an example, obviously, because that's where I was during the 90s. And those costed more or less the equivalent of today 150, 60 euro. Maybe even more, depends. Depends on the game. For example, Phantasmagoria was incredibly expensive because obviously it had 7 CDs. But yeah, it was definitely a big investment to get one of those games. Oh, someone had actually started to compile this registration card, then stopped. Interesting. 25, 34. Oh. How many PC games do you own? 21 plus. Whoa. What made you buy this game? In-store display, magazine review. Okay. But he never sent it in, it stopped. I think it stopped because the next question was, where did you buy this game? And this is all like shops in the UK. And I think this comes from Sweden, so obviously they didn't have any of those shops, I think. Maybe Game? I don't know, but I don't think so. Surely in Italy we didn't have any of those. Macro? I don't even know what Macro is. Anyway, this is a Liberation Day. I have no idea what Liberation Day even is. I mean, I know what game it is, but never really tried it. There's also a big advertisement for Fallen Haven, which I'm vaguely more familiar with. But vaguely being the key word here, obviously. And you got, as you can see, quite a chunky, thick little manual with the kind of which we don't see anymore unless, you know, you're buying a very expensive physical edition. This is 85 pages, which, you know, I wouldn't say was average at the time, but for this is, yeah, a little RTS is definitely par for the course, I would say. This is from 1998, Interactive Magic. And yes, it's not a terribly interesting manual. I would say probably it's not interesting at all. You know, that's what we're talking about. This almost looks like more like someone was keeping books. But I mean, it was nice to have. I mean, at least it made sense that you actually you got something for all your little money, hard-earned cash. Can you discover the aliens' vulnerability, defeat them, and save Earth? So another thing was that it's interesting to talk about. Maybe just for me, but I mean, it's my stream. I do what I want. The inside. So as you can see, this is empty. Maybe it didn't came empty, but there were lots of boxes that came like this, and so you just got stuff. You know, sloshing around the box, which is not the best thing. And one other thing is that those boxes are frail. This is normally what happens to them. If you just open them normally, that's what happens. You have to be very, very extra careful, or this is just normal. There's not much you can do either. I mean, sure, you can, you know, restore them. There's a whole community that's dedicated to restoring boxes, but it's not like, it's not retro bright, so it's not like you can restore them to their original like splendor or anything like that. And yes, this is one adventure game, finally, Adriel Steer, which I know has some fans, with some being the keyword. And this is a US release, and you can tell not only from the... No, it's not... I was sure it had a gatefold. It hasn't got a gatefold. Okay, so you can tell from the gatefold, so that actually worked in my favor. You can tell from this, the ESRB rating. This is from US. In Europe we had, when we had it, we had, no, I don't think it's on any of those boxes because they're too old. But anyway, we had another rating system, obviously. This, for example, that you can see on Hunter Hunted. Is it focus? Vaguely. But yeah, if you see this, it means that's a US release. So as you can see, you know, if you open the boxes with very careful, like pushing the flaps here, you can actually avoid it, but yeah, this is too late anyway. You know. So this actually comes with a inner box, which is good. This is from Mindscape, and it's pretty heavy manual. Okay, so the first page is an ad, which is not a good look, for Warhammer. What's this? It's just Warhammer. It's not even... Is that a video game? Shadow of the Horned Rat. Okay, I'm not an expert on Warhammer games, so... Yeah. So again, this is not an incredibly interesting manual, but it's not even long, honestly. It was written by 4 people. 4 people for 20 pages? Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I think this came on more than one CD though, if I remember correctly. Nope. Nope. 1 CD. That's it. That's all you get. I might have to play this someday. I've heard interesting things about it, which I don't know if they're, you know, I could trust them or not, but they are interesting. So we're all so far. You have a quick pause. So far we looked at stuff from 95, 96, 97, 98. So mid 90s, late 90s. And this was the standard for the time, for sure. Let's look at something else. This is quite a little good game. Subculture from Ubisoft, developed by Criterion. This was actually pretty good. Nice little exploration adventure. Underwater exploration adventure. This is a classic. This is, you know, the old Ubisoft logo. This brings back memories of Rayman 2. Why did the audio stop? What did the music stop? Oh, okay. Let me finish this, then I'll check. Oh, okay, started again. Great. Okay. So yeah, the Rayman 2 memories. Again, classic European release. So pretty bare bones. Just yeah, small little manual, 20 pages, nothing too incredibly interesting. It's black and white too. Very similar to the Rayman 2 release, obviously, which basically around the same time. Nice little CD though, a little bit of a... Ooh, I can see my own reflection in the screen. And yes, a very interesting toilet paper page of warnings about wait. Oh, it's a bug. Okay, due to unforeseen circumstances, the mission escort prison sub may cause the game to quit. The mission is not vital. Due to the progression of the game, it should simply be avoided. I hadn't read this. That's great. Also, it's interesting because in Italian they translated it with something different. In Italian they didn't say may cause the game to quit. They said it may hang your system, it may freeze your system. That's a little bit different from quit the game. That's a little bit worse. I wonder what of those two options are true. The other languages seem to say just you may quit your game, but in Italian, I guess they got dramatic. You know, we're dramatic, so it said, "Oh, it may freeze your system." Okay, that's it. That's a blast from the. We don't fix bugs. We put a little note, toilet paper note in your game, and May that suffice. Now you know you have to skip the mission. Anyway, jokes aside, Subculture is pretty good. I actually do want to play it again soon. I mean, I bought it. So. I'm glad you like the music, because I can't hear the music, so I don't even know what is playing. So I'm trusting your tastes. All right. Oh, look at this! Remember all those nice little logos? 3DFX, which meant this is not going to work on Direct 3D, or abandon all hope. Power VR, yes, that's a blast from the past. And Smack. Ooh, the Smack videos. Rendition. I don't know what Rendition Ready is. I don't know if anyone knows, but I have no idea. Also, it has a tag saying Subculture Export. I don't know why export. Seems to be a normal European release. I bought this from... I don't remember where I bought this. But, I mean, this is... Maybe the Italian version just had an Italian manual, I don't know. I would guess. So GT Interactive was also making boxes that were all very similar. They were all, at least of course, we're always talking about European releases, unfortunately. They were all pretty much like this. There's actually nice box art. I mean, the game doesn't really do much for me, but yeah, this looks good. I mean, it actually looks better on camera than in real life. I don't know why. Real life it looks washed out and strange. On the webcam it looks pretty good. I guess it's just it looks good on televisions, like a U.S. president. Face the toughest challenge yet. Rid infested Earth colonies of the biomechanical menace. PC Zone said, Mirage New Kill Fest is an absolute corker. Wow, I haven't heard corker in fucking years. Bucket loads of blasting fun. The level of detail is astounding, says PC Power. PC Power, I wonder what happened on PC Power. So again, we got a little outer box, inner box, an inner outer box figure there, which is is good because it keeps the shape. In fact, it's actually held up decently, even though again this is from 96. So this is 27 years old. Again, usual stuff, just a couple of things, but at least it hasn't got a CD manual. That already makes me happy. Also, I like the design of the CD. That's something that we've completely lost over time. Little cool design on CDs. Yeah, the manual is just 4 or 5 languages, so it's really not anything worth looking at. There's a few enemies, but yeah, probably. Well, there's a little introduction with dialogue and conversation, but who cares? There's something else, but I believe it's just... Oops! That's a lot of damage. That's just a little registration card. Well, I feel like I'm doing unboxing live on camera. That's good. That was my dream. No, it wasn't. Hi. I really wasn't. Hi guys, welcome to my unboxing video. Today we're going to unbox some very cool stuff. So something a little bit different that it's interesting still to look at. How could we call it? The budget versions. It's kind of ironic the fact that even the the budget versions also came in cartoon boxes. I mean, they were cheaper. I mean, this is not bad. Yeah, they were cheaper, and obviously the cover art was sacrificed because they had to punish you because you were saving money, so we had to punish you and give you a small cover. But except for that, this is a pretty hefty. This is a Swedish version, but this is a pretty hefty version. I mean, they skimped a bit. There's no there's no jewel case, so that's a little bit bad. Also, is there more than one CG? No. Okay. I wouldn't think so. But yeah, the manual is an absolute chonker. Look at that. I mean, I guess you have to know a lot to play the Settlers too, but it's also 4 different languages. But that's 170 pages. I mean, it's kind of not, you know, it's nostalgic, the fact that even the budget version came with a almost 200 pages manual. But yeah, you probably haven't seen this big budget yeah, my ass. This budget version a lot, because this is obviously for the Scandinavian market. I also haven't seen it. PC Best Buy, I don't know, not familiar. It's in, yeah, it's all the classic Scandinavian languages. But yeah, this is a fun little thing. And keeping in the Scandinavian market, that's a classic. I mean, a classic that no one cares about, obviously, but you can't deny that it's, you know, it had its place at the time. I honestly never played it. I played 97, which was awful, and I remember everyone saying, "Oh, 96 was much better," but I never did play and find out, and I don't want to find out anyway. But yeah, interestingly enough, this is actually a Swedish version. Svensk, just the Swedish version. I do believe at the time Electronic Arts, at least for their sport games, was making different versions for each European country. At least it was definitely so for Italy, even though the game was in English. So I don't know what sense did that make to, you know, to print a whole version of the box in Italian and then the game was in English anyway. Yeah. So there's a lot of little nice Swedish stuff. There's even a note that says tasatap.sys. What's that? Never heard of this file. I don't know. I guess it's a Swedish file. But yeah, little manual. Definitely little manual. 1995, obviously, and there's also some very rude words. But yeah, slut in Swedish means end, basically. I don't think it's. I think in this case it's actually championship, but usually slut means end, finish. Yeah, little boring. Oh, look at that reflection. Little boring CD from EA as usual. All the CDs were like that. I remember the one from FIFA 97 basically being the same. Now I'm wondering, since, you know, the one game that you can find used everywhere, it's actually usually, you know, Madden, NBA Live, or NFL, whatever, FIFA and all that stuff. Are these actually worth something? I would say probably no. But maybe 96 is actually worth against something. Probably not in its Swedish version, but yeah, developed by Electronic Arts Canada. Okay. So here's another little groups thing, which some are familiar with. Someone actually wanted to buy this game off of me on Facebook, and I don't remember what I said. I probably should have said yes, but it's still here. It's still Reunion. Is still with us, and it says the greatest voyage of all time has begun. This is from '94. So this is probably the oldest we've looked at. I don't know. It's not that old. It's only just old. It's only almost 30 years old. Yeah, by Grand Slam, which is not it's not a company you really hear about, even if you play a lot of retro games. It says recycle. It says recycled packaging. They were definitely ahead of their time. Also, I like that the awards section is almost bigger than everything else over here. So, what goodies await us in Reunion? There's an installation and quick start guide, which is also in German for some reason. Okay. wonder why. There's a game instructions, which is incredibly boring. It's black and white. It definitely looks like Doom. I've heard good things about this game as well, but again, never really tried it. I have difficulties holding the thing in the right way. The Reunion team. Wow, there's almost five or six people here. Well, 2 game designer. Well, from 95, that's not bad. So what other great classics are available from Grand Slam? Let's look at what we lost from Grand Slam. So there's Hunt for Red October, there's Liverpool, England. what the heck is it? Is that a... Yeah, that's a football game. So there's a football game called Liverpool? Okay. Then there's... Wow, this looks awful. Legend of Myra, look at that. Wait. You can barely see it, but it looks terrible. Armite, Seven Sword of More. I haven't heard of any of these games. I'm sure you haven't either. Beavers? Now I want a copy of Beavers. Beast Lord? Grand Slam Collection, okay. These should be all available from leading retailers. In case of any difficulty, please contact Grand Slam. Sure I will. I also love this was a classic. So, you know, games around 94, 93 were released in floppy versions and CD versions. And the thing was, of course, that they made floppy was still leading, obviously, right? 93, 94. So what they did, they made, you know, game instructions were just generic thing that everyone could use for any versions, right? Amiga, DOS, whatever, you could use those. Because they just said, do this, do that, planets, main screen, blah blah blah, buy icons, the interface works like this, right? And then there was, usually, Sierra did this a lot, a quick start guide, which told you how to install the game, obviously. And this was, sometimes it was different, sometimes it just covered all versions, you know, Amiga, DOS again, blah blah blah. And then, if you bought the CD version, there was an amendment sheet, something like this, which told you how to install the games from CD, how to load it. Because, yeah, it was a new thing, people didn't know about it. So it is interesting. The CD-ROM may contain several versions of the game in different languages. May contain. This does not mean that the CD-ROM included in this package contains all the language versions of the game. Well, if you don't know, my man, I don't know either. But yeah, you know, technology was changing, and of course you couldn't like print 4 or 5 different versions of one box. So they just printed one version, just added a little toilet paper sheet. And one of them, should the need arise. Let's look at some Creo, why don't we? So this is again in German, I don't know why, I bought this in Sweden, I don't know who was buying German games. But yeah, the Chronicle of the Black Moon. Again, not really the most known game from Creo. But again, Creo was releasing a lot of crap. I mean, it always did release a lot of crap, let's be honest, but yeah, at the time, it was out of control. I mean, there's still games from Creo that I still discover to this day that I've never heard about. So they definitely were busy back then. So yeah, Black Moon Chronicles. There we go. That's a 3-language thing. It's a terribly boring manual, so we skip. It's actually a 2 CD version game. Oh, there's a little Creo catalog. I think it's worth it to take a look at what Creo was offering around this time. What were they offering? It's in German again, but we don't care. Time Machine, which again is part of those games that I've never played and probably never will, knowing Creo. Aztec, which basically looks like Time Machine. Atlantis 2, which basically looks like Aztec. Devil Inside. Okay, Devil Inside was a little bit different. Devil Inside, I would actually want to take a look at. Fire Team, which I've never heard of. I mean, oh, it's an online game. Okay, I'm sure this works fine. Venezia, again online. So is online a genre? I guess it's a genre. Okay. There's also DVD-ROM versions, Mac versions. The Mac versions of Gadget? What the heck is Gadget? See here? Looks like Shadowman. Gadget. I don't know what this is. And there's also classic PlayStation 1 games from Creo, which was a well-known developer of a PlayStation 1 classic, as we all know. Yeah, one last Creo game. If I don't kill myself trying to grab it. Ugh. This is definitely a little more known. Dragon Lore 2: Heart of the Dragon Man. Dragon Lore 1 wasn't terrible, honestly. I've never played 2. I mean, you know, for the stuff that Creo was releasing, it wasn't that bad. At least. Look at that, that's another blast from the past. Look at those chunky jewel case. They would use those usually for games that had 3, 4, even 5, even 6, I think, CDs. And of course, the more CDs it has, the worse it was to use. 3 is fine, 4 it could handle. More than 4, you could bet that it would break at one point. But yeah, definitely. Boring cover, I mean, it's fine, but nothing much to look at. Oh, the old Creo logo. Yeah, that brings back memories, bad memories. Yeah, it's not a terrible manual. This is something to look at, but also they advertise Versailles on the back. But again, it's just 20 pages, so definitely look chunkier. Okay, so you get the gist. This was the 90s PC big box experience. Obviously, the experience in again in the US was a little bit better than this, but yeah, more or less. That's what we were dealing with. And again, this is stuff that today you would consider part of a collector's edition, I guess. Even if, I mean, if you wanted, I mean, not a CD because no one is going to give you a CD, but if you want a manual, something else, that's yeah, that's part of a collector's edition for sure. So let's move some years ahead. Let's see what was happening. A few years later. And this is what was happening. So this is a collector's edition of Heroes of Might and Magic 5. It's missing the cover, but who cares? And it's actually a little, it's a well-made little thing. It's got oops, a little bit of bonus stuff. It's got Heroes of Might and Magic 2 also, if you want to play it. I don't know why 2. Whoa. But I mean, the extras here are not the manual. I mean, you will get the manual anyway in the normal version. You got, I think, I mean, along with Heroes of Might and Magic 2, you got a little art book, and this you already can see the direction that this is taking. It's just like a 10 pages art book, little tiny thing. I mean, the images are, of course, are nice, but it's yeah, it's quite a tiny thing. Sure, there were more stuff you could, show the player. Then there's the classic thing that you will never use, at least I never do. Poster, map, in this case. It's a little map. And again, what they were doing here, they were transitioning the stuff that you would get normally in a PC big box release. So for example, in Ultima 2, Ultima 3, Ultima 4, you would get, I mean, not an art book obviously, okay, but that's not an art book anyway. You'll get, you know, the map, which was also a cloth map, extras and all that. Here they were already transitioning from giving you this stuff only if you paid more, basically. So they were, you know, slowly transitioning from to the present era. And this is from I think 2005, 2006. It already came on DVD-ROM. Whoa. We're moving up, and yeah, there's another little extra, but again, this was stuff that you would get in whatever edition. Yes, exactly. And now, you know, you don't even, you just have the right to access the game. Exactly, the digital license, so-called digital license. So, I mean, this is not a great example because this is a collector's edition, but you can see already that, you know, the standard edition just had the manual that you saw, same thing, and the DVD-ROM, and that's it. So they were already transitioning to the present era, and this is another good example. It's a bit better, but no, okay, let's look at this later. Actually, I wanted to first look at this. So this is one game I think you all know, Neverwinter Nights 2, again 2006, and again this is another limited edition. And you can see already, you know, the small box version. The small box version was prominent in the US. Everything around 2006, I think up to 2010, 11, came on small carton boxes. In Europe, almost nothing was coming out in little small carton boxes, only limited editions. We were already stuck with the DVDs already at the time. To give you an example, this was, you know, what the Adventure Company was releasing in the US around that time. You know, again, little gatefold, you know, which is a nice little effect for a game that no one remembers, I think. And around the same time, that's what we were getting in Europe. DVD box versions. So, and again, this is a little bit later, but yeah, around the same time, 2006, 2004, the situation was already like this. We already lost the carton box. And again, going back to this, limited edition 2006, so a little gatefold where you can see what's inside. There's something rattling around, which I'm sure is gonna fall out the moment I open it. Alright, there's two rings, which, you know, they're so big, with I don't know who or what that they're supposed to fit. They might fit, yeah, right, they fit great. One says lawful good, the other says chaotic evil. Huh, I think, didn't you get just one ring? Oh, that's strange. Okay, anyway, chunky manual, again, obviously, because this is an RPG, so 200 pages manual, obviously. Nothing actually too interesting. I mean, it's all very basic and bland and boring and black and white. I mean, of course, you know, beggars can be choosers. At least you got a manual, I know. And the usual art book, which is, again, I mean, it's got a nice little cover, which, yeah, you can see there's a little bit of a effect here, but yeah. Again, it's like a 20 pages thing, and you just look at this once and I guess you don't really look at it again. And since there was no space anymore inside this, you got no jewel case. We're already stuck with these. The jewel case was already on its way out. US releases I think still got it, but it wasn't for long anyway, and not all of them. Also, I love this. This is like the this is like the poor brother of the cloth map. I mean, this is incredibly thin. I mean, you couldn't even. This is awful. I mean, this is ultra cheap. You wouldn't. I mean, you can't even. I mean, this is not a cloth. This is a piece of plastic that's made up to be a cloth. I mean, you can't even wipe your hands on this. It's awful. Jesus, I completely forgot about this. Again, I know beggars can be choosers, but yeah, this is quite awful. Also, I'm pretty sure it only came with one good and one evil ring. Okay. Blessed. Okay, there was also an in-game bonus, as you know. Those were also becoming a thing in that now you're paying for collector's edition, where the only extra is a digital in-game bonus. Yay, because that's what you want. So I mean, not much to see here. Again, let's wait a bit. We're going to those later. 2004. This is a bit battered again, but yeah, as I was said, US release. You can tell. ESRB rating. Yeah, I think there's not much here. I think it's also difficult to. Okay, no, it's not. But yeah, you got a jewel case at least, which was destroyed by me, I guess. Yeah, to disc. The Adventure Company was releasing a whole truckload of very forgettable adventures. Let's put it this way. I don't want to insult them too much, but yeah, let's say forgettable. Also classic, again, jewel case, manual. So again, it was a little bit of a in between a nice little thing and a very cheap release. And yeah, again, bland manual, nothing to look at. But at least you got a little gatefold little thing, at least better than nothing, I guess. So this is not going inside ever again. I wonder if I ever played this. I don't think I have. Has anyone played? Has anyone played Sentinel: Descendants in Time? My guess would be no. Not even those Adventure Company apologists. Like I think Mike, my sometimes follower Mike, said something about the Adventure Company, but I don't know if it was a good thing or not. I don't remember. Anyway, I don't think anyone misses the Adventure Company releases that much. Yeah, another thing. This is actually a normal edition of Civilization 4. I also have a collector's edition, which interesting also came out in the US. I don't think Europe got a collector's edition of this, just a normal edition. And interestingly, this is just like a cover, it's not a box. And inside, you can see, there's a chunk manual and a DVD box. Which, in this case, is the wrong box. But, pretend that this is the Civilization 4 box. It's fine. It's Civilization 4. But, at least you got the very chunk manual. I mean, more than 250 pages. That's pretty chunk. I think this was one of the last time that Civilization came with a full manual like that. And of course the US edition of this, the collector's edition, has the ring spiral bound, the ring bound manual, which I was talking about on Twitter with Felipe a while ago. Those were definitely not a thing in Europe ever. Spiral bound manuals. I don't think I've ever seen a European edition which came with one. Maybe some collector's edition, I don't know, but definitely not a standard edition of anything ever. So again, 2006, 2004, 2005, so we transitioned 10 years ahead. Let's transition 4 or 5 years ahead, and let's see a standard edition and a collector's edition in 4 or 5 years. there you go. This was a standard edition in 2010, 2011, but even earlier than that. In Europe at that point, you just got these. Also with this awful Games for Windows Vista. Jesus, I hated that logo, which is also on the manual because, yeah, why not? It's even in color. Why did they even bother printing in color? It's 10 pages. Yeah, just save the money. Who cares? Hunter the Demon's Forge wasn't bad. Was okay. You know, for a game released by Bethesda, I would say this is definitely one of the most forgotten. Or Inxile, okay, it was developed by Inxile, which definitely tells you why it was forgotten. Again, lots of logo, lots of corporate stuff. And yes, our Peggy, here he is, our little Peggy friend. And yes, this was a collector's edition in 2011. Just a very, I mean, it's nice, I guess, but it's just a steelbook. There's nothing inside, obviously, as you would expect from Electronic Arts. I haven't mentioned the title. It's Command Conquer 4. What's going on? We're looking at some stuff. We're looking at stuff. It's the moving stream. I'm moving again, so we're looking at stuff. Do you want to stay and look at stuff? You can stay and look at stuff. Do you want not to look at stuff? Go somewhere. I'm sorry, I'm a bit snarky today. That's the way I is. That's the way I is. Yeah, as you can see, so this was the collector's edition in 2011. The collector's edition experience. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Yeah, I mean, sure, the steelbook is fine. I mean, this is, you know, I suffered some Tiberian Wars for sure. But yeah, you paid more and you just got one extra. I don't even think. I don't think it's something is missing from this edition. I don't think it is. I think that's just what it was. That's it. Yeah, 2010 Dolby Digital. Dolby Digital, who cares? Yeah, what a money splasher, right? The epic conclusion of the Tiberian saga. Yeah, who cares? So yes, around 2011, this was the best that you could. I mean, there was other stuff, obviously. I mean, not everything came in steelbook, but yeah, it was changing. It was becoming way cheaper, for sure. And we transition a little bit ahead, and look at this. So this is a collector's edition of Do Not Feed the Monkeys from Spanish studio Fixorama. I don't think there is a standard edition. I mean, not for PC. I don't think. There might be for Switch, but for the most part, I think that's the edition that you might get, that you can still find, maybe. Yeah, what was happening? So we're already 2020, so 3 years ago, but there's a PS4 edition, but they're all the same, really. So what you get inside, it's a shirt, which you might have seen me wear sometimes. So I'm not going to undress myself and put it on because I care about your health. So you got a shirt. You got this. Sorry, I'm not showing it correctly. You got this, which is an empty notebook. This stinks of. Do we still have those leftover notebooks from last year? Yes. Okay, put them in Do Not Feed the Monkeys. But why? Put them. Who gives a sh? Yeah. I don't know what this has to do with anything. I don't even think you really take notes in the game. I mean, is that a? I mean, yes, you could write down the the time something up. That's a stretch and a half. So you got the shirt, which is the main thing, clearly. This fantastic notebook, this little pin, Make your own guide, yes. This little pin, which is, yeah, it's nice, but what is it worth? Two euros? Is it probably a leftover from PR thing that they couldn't get to someone? And the game, obviously. I mean, this is PS4, but the PC version is exactly like the Switch version. Sorry. And you might have noticed that there's something missing. Yeah, there's no manual. There's nothing. So we've seen, you know, we started from '94. We've seen, you know, manuals, boring. I know. I haven't got flashy manuals on hand, unfortunately. But you know, all standard editions, chunky manuals, 50 pages, 60 pages. Now, then, you know, if you want a manual, you have to buy the, you know, the cool edition, which comes with the manual. Then 10 pages manual, but still in color, to nothing. Yeah, that's the. I would say, I wouldn't even say that's the modern experience, because this is the modern experience if you pay. If you don't pay, you don't even get this. So I mean, of course, there's, you know, there's physical editions for people like limited run games, which you have to sell your own firstborn to buy one. There's super rare games, which are pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, the standard edition, if it even happens, it doesn't have anything. It doesn't even, I mean, even the collector's edition doesn't have anything. As your own, you know, make your own manual with a blank notebook, or I don't know, wipe your ass with it. I don't know, do with it what you want. You know, except for the shirt, there's the t-shirt. There's really nothing in this. Okay, it wasn't that expensive, but it's not about being expensive. It's about why. I mean, that's the same problem I have with the Switch games. I mean, why are you making physical edition which have nothing? I mean, you could say, you know, we were talking about it earlier. At least this has a copy of the game. I mean, at least you can, you know, put this in your PS4 and it works. That's already something. But I mean, the Switch games which are coming out, which are called Code in a Box. I don't have a code in a box because I hate those. But what you get inside a code in a box is, you know, this thing, this little plastic thing, and this basically, you know, with a little code inside. Yeah. That's what you get. It's an incredible waste of plastic. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, why are you wasting time and people's money to buy an edition which is not a physical edition, just a container for something that you don't even have? Was there a physical edition of Papers, Please? I think there was. I'm pretty sure there was. I've never seen it, but I think they did make a physical edition. I don't think there's any collector's edition or anything like that, but there should be like a standard edition, like something a bit like this. I don't know if it comes with a manual. I would say probably not. But for example, this is Flipping Death. It's a pretty cool game. It's not my favorite, but it's okay. And this was basically, okay, it's missing the cartridge, but you know what a Switch cartridge looks like. And this was the only extra. And they're calling this bonus tarot card, which is not even that. I mean, because it's even, you know, double-sided, so you can't even. It's an incredibly cheap thing. I mean, why even why even bother? And the other piece of paper is just, of course. What else could it be? Can we guess? Do we have guesses? It's an epilepsy advisory thing in French for some reason. I guess Canada or something is strict on epilepsy thing. I mean, the inside of the box is cool, I guess, sure, but why bother? I mean, just don't do it. And going back to PS4, we're all familiar with this, I think. as you can see from the incredibly, horribly shiny sticker here, this comes from Italy, and each of these stickers actually even costs like almost €1 to apply, but whatever. Yeah, it's all in Italian. The game is not, but likely. Oh. This is okay. This is the upgraded version. This is the fun version of Death Stranding. No, I think the disc is inside my PS4. But yeah, this is a standard edition of a famous game. You get the disc, and thank God for that, and one piece of paper with a few controls, and that's it. That's the physical edition. That's the physical experience that we're getting. Basically, today you might consider yourself lucky that you even get this. At least you can play it, I guess, in the foreseeable future. I mean, okay, this will probably require patches and shit. I mean, since I have all my cartons here, let's look at something real quick. Again, we're all familiar with this, I think. And this is, halfway from what we were talking about. This is from 2008, obviously. But, still this physical edition, at least they tried a little bit. Okay, never mind. I thought it came with a map, but I stand corrected. I mean, the manual was fun, at least. They were trying. Yeah, the Vice City. I was actually thinking of Vice City. But Vice City has a lot of stuff inside. It's got maps and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I can show here. Either. Also, the list of credits is longer than the rest of the manual. So basically, they printed this just so they could fit all the credits, especially the radio credits, obviously. I mean, it's 8 pages of credits. But, they were kind of still trying at the time. Let's look at... that's another classic with a Swedish sticker, which comes to little less than €20. So this was either used or cheap. Oh, there's a lot of stickers, but the orange box not only came with a little, orange manual, obviously, but yeah, look at that. I mean, the manual was all orange. Half-Life with GTA 5. No, it's got the right CD in this case. I mean, again, nothing crazy, but I mean, we were looking at this and we were going, oh, this is pretty nice. Why did the music stop again? Jesus Christ. Okay, I'll fix this. Anyway, but we're looking at this and we're like, yeah, nice. I mean, is this what we've come to? That we're looking at Xbox 360 manual, we're going, oh, not bad. I miss these. I mean, it's stylish, it's nice. And frankly, this is from 2007, obviously. And frankly, I don't believe for one second that the fact that they're not doing this anymore is because of the environment. I'm sorry. I'm not don't want to sound like one of those crazy loons. Let me fix the music in the meantime. One of those crazy loons is climate change denier. I mean, God forbid, but. The Yardbirds flying here. Did the music restart? Yes. Okay. Yeah, Orange Box was an incredible deal, but yeah, I mean, frankly, I don't believe this is for the environmental reasons. I think it's just to save a buck. I mean, the whole code in a box thing, it just tells you that this is not to save the environment, because otherwise you will never print a plastic box to put nothing inside it. I mean, at least if you're buying, I don't know, vegetables, meat. At least there's something inside a plastic packaging. It makes sense. You use your salad, you eat your salad, you eat your meat, you eat your veggies, and then you throw it away. In this case, literal in this case, there's nothing in this case. So it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, it's really, I don't believe for 1 second that it's for environmental reasons, frankly. Let's look at a couple more Switch. I'm almost run out of stuff, honestly, but there's still a few things. Again, this is from Rising Star, so the same publisher of Flipping Death. This is Deadly Premonition 2, and this was a sequel that I didn't like at all. Luckily, I still have a physical edition of the first somewhere. And again, it's missing the cartridge, but I have it, I think. But yeah, that's it. That's what we're looking at. And again, I don't want to come here to complain, because we all know this, right? I'm not saying anything new or mind-blowing. But if you put it into perspective with what we've seen, right? Let's go head to head. Let's put the old and the new together. Okay, let me show this, because I actually haven't shown it. This is a completely forgotten and forgettable Merit Studios game. It's called Command Adventure Starship, a real-time strategy-based space and ground combat simulation, digital sound effects with CD quality sound. Yeah. So, okay, sure, console games never came in big boxes. Sure, I know, we all know. But they came with something. And this is not even a good PC big box, because yes, that's all it comes with. So again, awful CD manual and nothing inside really, but the most boring boilerplate thing that you could find. There's not even a picture. Nope, nothing. There's an epilepsy okay, there's a good epilepsy warning. Even printed on some nice little paper, so they were they were going all out for those epilepsy warning. But you know, it's a completely this uninteresting, I guess, I don't know, game that no one remembers, but still it came with something. This is terrible. I picked the worst of the litter. Now I know why I haven't shown this. This looks like a bootleg. What the heck is going on? Why is it? Is the data showing you? What the heck? Okay, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. But you know, bottom of the barrel stuff from Merit Studios, which, as we would say in Italy, not even their grandma remembers them. I'm sorry, Merit Studios. Nothing against you, obviously. I mean, I'm just playing it up for the camera, as they would say. Also, look at this. Whoa, this. This is awful. I mean, not even another cover song. I mean, come on, guys. Jeez. This is not even cheap. This is lazy. But okay, you know, I've enough tearing Starship, a new one, because this is an enhanced PC CD-ROM featuring full motion video, baby. I wonder what full motion video there is in this. I have to check it out someday. But yeah, anyway, bottom of the barrel stuff. You still got something. You still got a little manual, something from '94 instead of, you know, nothing. And again, sure, I mean, this edition, Deadly Premonition 2, wasn't as expensive as, you know, this might have been back in the day. I mean, the price is quite low, but I would guess back in the day this was full price. So this was not full price. But all games are like this. So let's go full price. Let's go Switch full price. Switch full price. There's not a fuller price than this. This was 60 euros. So exactly like any of those games we've seen. Exactly like Subculture. And that's it. There's even the cart inside this time. Wow. I mean, they did us the little favor, putting a little art. But that's it. I mean, also look at the... Whoa, I haven't seen it. Look at the back of this box. That's a boilerplate galore. It's like corporate stuff everywhere, legal stuff. I mean, I guess they have to put it somewhere because the manual's gone, so... But Jesus. I mean, you can barely read the features of the game. They're so small. That's... It's also in Swedish. I mean, I guess it's a Swedish version. I don't know. Can we blame this on the Swedish? I don't know. Yes, let's blame it. I mean, yeah, so, I mean, not even about the size, because size doesn't matter, as we all know, but... I mean, Subculture, normal edition, even a little bit boring, but... You got something. And I guess everyone from the time remembers, you know, reading the manual, what the game was installing, or reading the manual while they were coming back from the shop. I mean, sure, it's nostalgia, so everything was better when we were younger, and we had more hair and stuff, I guess. But this is just sad, because again, this is, you know, this is our interesting games that you could do some... There's probably a lot of art that was done for these games, so you could put it somewhere instead of, I don't know, just never showing it to anyone. What happens to all the art? I don't know, it's just gone, I guess. Just poof, just disappears into the ether. Oh, what else do we have? Oh, we have a good one. So I would love to showcase my Morrowind Collector's Edition. Actually, I have two different Collector's Edition, but unfortunately I don't have it. I'm just showing you what I have here. So yeah, Oblivion Collector's Edition. No, it's not Collector's Edition. Game of the Year Edition. Sorry. Let's, you know, let's be careful what we say. Comes onto disc, which we don't care about. What we care about are the extras. So what extras did we get on an Xbox 360 games? Well, first of all, and this was also the same on the PC version, at least the manual was in color, and it's pretty nice. I mean, it's got little different fonts. I mean, the Morrowind one was better. I mean, everything was better in Morrowind than in Oblivion. Probably not a hot take. I don't know if it's a hot take, but yeah. I mean, Oblivion was fine, but Morrowind I think was better. But yeah, I mean, you got at least you got this, which I actually used the map, not in Oblivion, but in Morrowind. I actually used it. I used to go, you know, I was at the university back then, and I used to take the map and, you know, try to remember where I had to go, what quest did I have to do. Yes, I know, I was sad, pathetic little nerd, as you are, as you know, when you're that age, as one is often. But yeah, I couldn't do that today. I had to, you know, I could look it up on my phone, sure. Of course, I'm never going to put this. Now, the rest of the stream is putting away the Oblivion map. No, this is already not working. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those you can't do this anymore kind of situation. It's just lost. And again, is this for environmental reasons? I don't know. I have actually some trouble believing this. But sure, it's less paper to print, I guess. But then again, we're printing, you know, terrible books anyway. So, I don't know. one more for the road. This is another one that I think we all are familiar with. I mean, I'm not that familiar with, but sure most of the gamers out there are. Granted, did the music stop again? Jesus Christ, this music is really acting up. Luckily I've got my wireless mouse with me and I can fix it on the fly. I don't know why it's acting up. Oh, Duke Nukem 3D, yes. Okay. I mean, what came in Grand Theft Auto 5? Obviously a lot of game add-on download. Oh no, he's showing the code. Oh, this is interesting. So we've seen Grand Theft Auto 4 had an okay manual, and this is the manual for 5. Nothing. It's barely there. I mean, why did they even bother? It does come with something else though, which I think should have been in 4 too, right? I think it's missing. Anyway. A good, honest to God, big maps. I mean, don't you love maps? I mean, who doesn't love maps? It's good. It's good. I mean, not Google Maps, but maps in your little game that you can never put back again because it's too late. Now you opened it and you ruined it. But I mean, I've always loved a little map in my game. I actually think my first map was Morrowind. At least the games that I bought personally full price. I think it was probably Morrowind. I think so. Might be wrong, but yeah. Featuring Grand Theft Auto Online. Yes. The one we all love. Okay, I mean, I have a few stuff here, but it's just Xbox stuff, so it's more or less what we've seen already. Yeah, there's another Switch game, but I think you get the gist. But yeah, a little something to to end on, to add to the nostalgia pile, I guess. Actually, let me take the other one. Let's add to the nostalgia pile. Yeah, physical magazines, which are also kind of becoming a sort of forgotten thing. And yeah, this was, I think, the wireframe issue where I wrote the Scum one thing. Oh, no. What was it? Yes, Scum one thing. Yes, the little feature on Scum one. Again, I understand why physical magazines are not that popular anymore, and they're transitioned to something a little bit different in that they've become like books, like those coffee table books, so more expensive but more dedicated to a niche. I understand that, but I mean, we've all grown up with this stuff, I think. Most of my general audience or anyone who's watching on YouTube later probably grew up with reading reviews and stuff on magazine, and yeah, I don't know, I guess we're all we're on the way to just going everything digital, and that's understandable, I guess. I mean, there's more choice, easier access, no gatekeeping in a way that you don't have to pay to get this. You can just read it online and have 20 ads, so you're just basically paying with your attention rather than paying to get an issue of wireframe. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, it's still kind of sad, honestly. It's still something that feels like the end of the end of my throat. No, the end of an era. The end of definitely at the end of the physical era, I think. I mean, again, there's lots of physical releases if you want to, but if you want to, that's the thing. So it's really dedicated to a small audience, so like 4,000 copies, 5,000 copies, so it's become definitely something for a much smaller audience for sure. And again, you're just anyway paying a little bit more anyway than the digital edition often, and you're not really getting much anyway. I mean, if you get a manual, again, you're lucky these days at all. And again, there's lots of people that are doing actual really interesting thing with physical releases. So I'm not saying, oh, this was just dead, there's nothing like this anymore. But it's definitely, it feels like it's past, you know? It's not coming back. Also, this seat is incredibly uncomfortable. Which I'm sure you don't care, but yeah. Well, anyway, going back to preservation. This is also an interesting thing to talk about, because this relates to physical editions as well, in that is anyone really preserving the different editions of the games? Does anyone even care? Because again, the Video Game History Foundation, of course, made their research on American games. So when they say 9 out of 10 games are not available, 87%, they're speaking of American retro games. So not Amstrad CPC, no Spectrum. If there's Commodore 64, I'm surprised, but there's probably very little stuff anyway. So if you're looking at stuff that's available to buy in Europe, there's almost nothing from the 80s and 90s in Europe. And I mean, a good example is most of the stuff that we've even seen. I mean, is Reunion available to buy today? I might be terribly wrong, it might be. But I can tell you that Starship is not available to be bought anywhere. So, sure, it might be available to download, but that's another thing. You have to know how to install it, you have to know how to run it. And I was speaking to someone who is trying to teach his students how to use a Commodore 64 emulator, and they say that it's been a heck of a journey, because try explaining to someone who is 20 years old the fact that you're there's 2 joystick ports, you have to use certain commands to run the games, certain games use the keyboard and the joysticks, other games use both the joysticks, I hated those. Some games use only the joystick, so other games use only the keyboard. There's a lot of stuff, not to mention, you know, anything that could go wrong loading Commodore 64 games, which is, I mean, on an emulator, probably not a big issue, but on a real Commodore 64, that happened all the time. If even one byte fails to reach the Commodore 64, the game will not load. I remember those words, like they were my mother's. And yeah, Bedlam. Is Bedlam available to be bought anywhere? Probably not. Mirage, I don't even know who those guys were. I don't think it is. So there's a lot of stuff. Again, we're not even looking at games that were that old. I mean, this is from 1996. I mean, it's old, but it's not that old. I mean, go figure how much of an easy time you might have trying to find something from 1986 to buy. That's almost impossible. I mean, there's OnStream, which has some stuff, but it's mostly Commodore 64 stuff. I don't think they even have an Amstrad CPC emulator, unless I'm mistaken. They have some Atari 8-bit games, but yeah, I mean, most of the stuff it's you know, available because someone was kind enough to dump it online, basically. So it's not a plan behind it, there's not a thought, it's just, I'm going to put this game on the internet. And, you know, power to them that they did, because otherwise we would have no way of playing any of those games. So there's a huge problem with preservation, and the fact that I don't think the solution are easy anyway. The Video Game History Foundation said, oh, well, libraries could help. I don't know if that's a thing that could be done in Europe. Frankly, I have no idea. It should depend on each country, I guess. But yeah, it's not an easy situation at all, and it's going to get more difficult rather than easier. So, but yeah, as I predicted, basically no one cared about this stream, which is fine. I mean, I just wanted to prattle on in front of the camera and have my beautiful beard going and in the upper part of the screen, just prattling on and showing some stuff, which just stuff that I have at my, you know, I could get my hands on right now. I hope to one day do a bit of a more interesting physical stream as soon as I have enough stuff for my actual collection, rather than stuff that I just could get my hands on. But yeah, I'm hoping that this might be interesting to someone in the future, also on YouTube. But yeah, I guess that's it for this little stream. It's just a little chat with myself. I love talking to myself. But yeah, thanks to the 2 people that took some time to say hi. I always appreciate it. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to move. No, I'm going to throw away all this stuff. No, just kidding. I'm not going to throw it away. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, those PC games, if they could find a better home, I would be happy to send them to a better home. But yeah, you don't care about this. I don't care about this. So I'm just going to say good night and have a good rest of your weekend. And I'm going to start packing and I'm going to move. And so for the next stream, you're going to see a completely different background. Oh god, that's very interesting information, Damiano. Oh, you could have told us earlier. Okay, enough jokes, enough crap. I'm going to say bye. See you next stream. Bye!